How do you do, Storyteller here, and today we are not playing a game, we're going to do something very, very serious. Today I am taking a psychopathy evaluation, something like that. But recently, in the heat of an argument, I won't go into that, I was called the psychopath. So tonight we are going to determine whether that was a credible or just an unreasonable accusation. So we're going to take a psychopathy quiz. It's on Psych Central up here in the left-hand corner. If you guys want to go on and take this quiz for yourself, up to you. I haven't taken this before. I've taken quizzes online before and stuff, but never a quiz like this, so this will be interesting. I don't know how valid it is, but we'll see if their accusations are anywhere near close, and if they are, well then, we'll know. Instructions. This quiz is designed to help give you some idea about whether or not you may have psychopathic tendencies. Okay, fair enough. This quiz is not meant to diagnose psychopathy or to tell you definitely whether or not you're a psychopath, but it will give you a pretty good idea based upon the research. For each item, indicate how much you agree or disagree with the statement. This takes people about 2 minutes to complete. Take your time and answer truthfully for the most accurate results. And I am an 88-year-old female. Let's see. Most would describe me as charming, nonchalant. I can turn my charm on and off like a faucet. I would say that's pretty... Now, before we actually go into this, I know I started reading. Before we go into this, I am going to try to be as honest as I possibly can. I'm not going to be goofy during this. I'm going to answer as close to the truth as I believe. And if that means revealing a bit about myself along the way, so be it. We're gonna be honest about this, so if those of you who don't want to know whether or not I truly am a psychopath, you might not want to watch, because I'm not sure what kind of results I'm going to get. It'll be interesting, but my point was, I'm going to answer as truthfully as I can, so we get the most accurate results. I'm not going to try to overemphasize anything to be funny, so if you see me click an answer, it's because that's what I believe my answer is. May or may not be true. It could be subjective. But these are things I believe, so I'm going to be as honest as I can. Let's continue. I can turn my charm on and off like a faucet. I do believe that's actually true, just because life experience. I've lived in a lot of situations where I've had to play with emotions that weren't entirely true. Like, growing up, I grew up in a church as the granddaughter of the pastor, so I learned to turn on sweetness and charisma and then turn it back off when I didn't want it. Or in school, trying to interact with other people, or... I think that's something we all kind of have, but I do believe that's true with me. I believe I do turn on and off my emotions, especially charisma, that sort of thing. So I'm going to say this is definitely me. I do what I want, when I want, the moment the impulse strikes me, regardless of what others want. This one is a hard one, because I like to think that I'm pretty considerate of other people, or at least I try to be, but I am impulsive. So once I get an idea in my head, say, I want to go somewhere to dinner. There's 3 of us in the house right now, and if I say, I want to go to dinner here, I usually get my mind set on it pretty steadfastly. Now, it doesn't say that I always get what I want. That's not what this is saying. I want what I want when I want, regardless of what others want. So it's not saying that I necessarily always get it, but it's saying I want it even if other people don't want it. And that is true. I can be very tunnel vision. I can get very narrow-minded. I try to be considerate of others, but I'm the kind of person who does know what I want. and tries to get it. I'd like to think I'm a bit more considerate than what this is necessarily insinuating. I'm gonna say this describes me somewhat, so it's the in-between. I'm impulsive, but I'm not completely selfish. I know what I want, but I'm willing to work with people. That's fair. I think that's fair. If something goes wrong or turns out badly, it's not my fault. This is something I struggle with, actually. It's pegging all my problems. I do have a problem often, and I'm being honest here. We're being as honest as we can be. We're opening up our hearts for this quiz to analyze us. But I do have a problem. If I do something wrong or something doesn't turn out right, I do tend to look to something else to blame. The most recent thing I can think of is baking at Thanksgiving a couple weeks ago. Not even a couple weeks ago, like a week ago, 1 week ago. Wow, time is strange. Anyway, baking. I was making a dessert, it's called apple crisp. But I did something wrong in the recipe. I didn't mix something right. Instead of being crumbly and crispy and flaky, all of the crumbles on top melted. So it became this sugary gunk on the top of the apples instead of being crispy. And my first instinct was, must be written wrong in the book, or it had been penciled in for adjustments. Like later on somebody had gone, "Ooh, it tastes better with a little bit more cinnamon and a little less sugar," and so I went, "Oh, well, they misled me with the write-ins, so that must be it." No. I later realized I hadn't mixed it together and then crumbled it. I had done it individually, which made it melt together. So instead of crumbling, it melted. But my first instinct in that situation and many other situations was to first blame the book and then blame the person who had tried to improve the recipe for tampering with it. So I'm gonna say, unfortunately, even though it's not true, this is a problem I have. My first response is, it's not my fault. I get defensive. I try not to. I realize it's a problem, but it's a problem. It's something I do, so I'm gonna have to check that one. Guilty. Let's move on. This is gonna take a lot more than 2 minutes, that thing lied. I've gotten into legal criminal trouble as an adult, not speeding or parking ticket. No, actually, I haven't. I'm a very, very law-abiding citizen. Growing up, I was in cadet police forms, so I grew up around a lot of law enforcement, around a lot of, in the criminal justice system. I'm very familiar with that, and I've gained sort of a respect for that. So, no, I'm a very law-abiding citizen. So I've never been in trouble with the law. I've never even gotten a traffic ticket yet. I am easily the best at what I do, bar none. Nobody could ever take my place. That is definitely not me. A lot of times, I feel like I don't know what the heck I'm doing at any point, so I'm definitely not the best at what I do, because I don't even know what it is I do. I'm kind of all over the place. I do whatever I feel like doing. I don't care what others think, even if it's illegal. See, that's the problem I have. All of that sentence was me until we got to illegal. Now we have to talk about what it is that's illegal. What are we talking about? I do whatever I feel like doing. I don't care what others think, even if it's illegal. You see, there's a problem here. What do you define as illegal? What falls into that category? 'Cause a big example. At my school, I go to college. at my school, the entire front row of the school is all motorcycle parking. And it ticks me off so bad because we have a really busy school. Really busy. The parking lot is constantly overflowing. People have to park down the street. And it's winter. It is November. It's snowing. Well, it's not snowing yet, but it's raining. It's cold. It'll be snowing. And the entire front row is motorcycle parking. There are no motorcycles in November here. Not gonna happen. So, on a day where it's snowing and I wanted to park in one of those dozens of motorcycle parking places, I would probably do it, even though it's for motorcycles. If it's a snowy day and it's cold and the parking lot is full, I would probably be one of those people to park in the motorcycle parking. Forget everybody else, I don't care. I'll do it. So in that sense, I would fit into this category, but if I go, oh, I want that beautiful diamond ring, but I don't want to pay for it, so I'm going to take it, I don't care what you think, I wouldn't do that. That's not who I am, that's not how I think. I don't do stuff like that. That's not how I am. So, I'm going to say in some circumstances, I might be inclined to bend rules, but I'm not a criminal. I wouldn't do things like that just because I wanted to. Do you guys get me? Do you guys know where I'm sorry if I'm pouring out my soul and you're going, oh my gosh, who is this person? Who is this person? I'm watching this video. She's crazy. But no, I'm trying to be honest here. There are times I might be inclined to break rules, but I am still a law-abiding citizen. I am still perfectly sound in my justice system. I believe in law enforcement. I believe in following law, so that's one area where I don't really fit into this category. But let's keep going. Number 7. Every person for themselves. I don't see a point in feeling sorry for other people and have no desire to help others. You see, this is a problem. This is another problem. I want to help people. But a big belief I have is I cannot help people unless they want to help themselves. So, for people I know, people I care about, I can say, I'll be there for you. But feeling sorry for somebody doesn't help anything. Feeling sorry... You see, I have a desire to help, but I can't physically or emotionally help you unless you want help. So, in a way, it is every person for themselves. I'm here to support you. I got your back. We'll do this together. But there's nothing I can do for you. You have to make that choice yourself. So in that regard, I'm going to say this describes me somewhat, because it is every person for themselves, but this part where it says no desire to help is not true. That's why it's only going to be the midpoint. They make these questions hard, because they add so much into the sentence where, yeah, this part's true, but this part is not, which kind of makes it more interesting, because you have to decide what you're going to say. I've gotten into legal or criminal trouble when I was a teenager. No, I've always been a law-abiding citizen. I've had troubles when I was very, very young, not criminal troubles, but in school disciplinary issues, talking back, being very mouthy to teachers, being very disrespectful and disruptive. I was a bad kid. I was a bad kid, but never in a legal sense. I never got into trouble with police. I have no problem or concern in lying in order to get what I want. Ugh. Ouch. That's a hard one. I have no problem or concern in lying in order to get what I want. This one is probably the toughest one so far, because this really speaks about my character. Really talks about my integrity. And if I said that I had never lied to get what I wanted, I would be lying again. I'd be lying again. I will admit, I have, in cases, lied to get what I wanted, or to make an impression that I wanted to make, or to seem credible in certain situations. I admit to that. I'm not proud of it. I'm certainly not flaunting it, but I have done that. But do I have no problem with that? That's not true. I do have a problem with it, but I've done it. So that kind of discredits what I just said. That's a hard one, because I've done it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to be that person. But you can't change what you've done, and I can't say with entire certainty. I want to believe that I wouldn't, but I can't say with entire certainty that I wouldn't do it again. Never lie to get what you want again. I can't necessarily say that. I'm being honest here. If I wanted to just say the right answer, it would be, oh, I would never lie because lying is bad. No, lying is bad, but I've done it, and I can't say I wouldn't do it again if this situation came up. It's just, it kind of happens. You get caught, oh, one white lie, and then you get caught in it, and then you say another, and then you say another, and another, and another, and you're just stuck in this web of keeping up face, keeping up appearances. So in that regard, I'm gonna say it describes me somewhat, because I do have a problem with it, but I am guilty of it. Just in the realm of complete honesty. I don't like it, but I've done it. So, describes me somewhat. Live in the moment is what I say. The future will take care of itself, and learning from your past is pointless. Oh, I was with you up until that. I believe in living in the moment. I believe life is too short to worry too much about things. I believe my saying is live with reckless abandon. Just to get out there and do things and worry about it later. But this part, learning from your past is pointless, is completely false. I believe it's so important to learn from your experiences, to gather stories as you go through life and use those to improve yourself, to become a better person, and to just to understand the world better too. So I believe in living in the moment, and I believe the future will take care of itself. I believe just go through life and you'll get there one way or another, wherever you're going. Whatever happens, happens. Just go with it. Roll with the punches, because it's gonna happen. But not learning from your past. If you don't learn from your mistakes, you're doomed to repeat them. That's something I heard in a history class once, and it's so true. So, I'm gonna say this describes me somewhat, because living in the moment and the future will take care of itself do describe me. I believe that wholeheartedly. But not learning from your past, or that your past is pointless, I'm totally against that. I believe your past is so important to remember. So, describes me somewhat. I never feel remorse, shame, or guilt about something I've said or done. That's a hard one. I'm gonna say it like this, and I hope you take this in the way I mean it. I believe that every choice we make, everything we say, everything we do through our lives has shaped us into what we are today. And if you're not happy with who you are today, that's probably one of the saddest existences you can have. So I believe in being content with yourself and who you are now, and you have to live with the choices that you made to get there, because if you had made different choices, you would be a completely different person. I wouldn't know myself if I hadn't goofed up before. If I had never made mistakes before, I wouldn't be the same person that I am now. And I wouldn't want to be a different person. I wouldn't be me. I wouldn't be this crazy, insane, quirky person that I am. I wouldn't want to be somebody else. So, in that respect, in the way that I phrased it, I'm gonna have to say that's me. Because if you go through life with regret, living with remorse, living with guilt, that's what you're gonna think about. That's what's gonna keep you up at night. And you're gonna want to be different. You're gonna want to change who you are. I don't want to change who I am. I am who I am. Take me or leave me. But what I am now is because of the choices I made before. So I'm gonna have to say, this describes me. As bad as it sounds to never feel guilt or remorse, I'm not saying it's necessarily true that I haven't made choices before that I went, oh, that was a bad decision. But looking back on what I've become from that, I would rather be what I am now than who I could have been if I had made a different choice. Because that's just not me. And I'd rather be me than somebody I don't know. That's the only way I can say it. I'm pretty content with who I am. And I think that's unbelievably important, to be happy with who you are, even if it was a rough road to get here. Just accepting what you are. Let's go on to the final question. One last question, guys, then you're free. You're free. I don't see the point in taking responsibilities of any kind. They just weigh you down. No, that's wrong. I'm going to say it like this, and I promise I'll wrap this up quickly. It depends on what kind of responsibilities you mean. Because different people have different responsibilities they need to take on. Like a parent needs to be responsible for their child, a boss needs to be responsible for the business and the employees. Even though certain responsibilities are for other people, and you might say this isn't my strong point, responsibilities of any kind, responsibility makes you accountable for being sound of mind and for being thoughtful and considerate. Not taking responsibilities of any kind is just lazy and disrespectful. I don't know how else to say that. You need to take responsibility for some things, even if it's just your own actions. I mean, saying I'm not taking responsibility is, in a way, taking responsibility for the fact you're not taking responsibility. It's a paradox, kinda. But no, I don't agree with this one. I believe it's important to take responsibility for your own actions and to take up responsibilities in your life and in areas where you can contribute, can be of help to others. So I don't know how else to phrase these things. This might not look good on me because of how honest I'm being very honest here, so this might not be good what we get as results. But I can't answer any differently. I've been as honest as I know how to be. So, score my psychopathy test quiz. You scored a total of 11. What does that mean? No psychopathy. Oh, 0 to 12. No psychopathic tendencies. You answered this quiz consistent with people who would not generally be considered a psychopath by research methods currently used to quickly screen for psychopaths in the population. Really? Really? Are you sure? Are you sure? Because I feel like a lot of those questions could have gotten me committed. Okay. Well, you heard it here yourself. We disproved that person who argued with me and called me a psychopath. Because apparently, I am in the sane category. I am in the category that is fit to be among the population. I'm not sure how fit the population is, but apparently, according to this test, maybe I'll go back and take more of them, because this was actually kind of fun, bearing my soul to you guys. But according to this one, I am not a psychopath, so maybe we'll be back. Make it 2 out of 3 if we can get non-psychopath answers. So, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye!